Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for the card making tutorial, and this is for the colour combo blog hop. So if you just pop along to the links in the description there, you'll see a link to the blog post, and then you can click through and see what everyone else has made using these wonderful colours. So we have Blushing Bride, Blackberry Bliss and So Saffron to work with. So I am going to use these colours with the Friends Are Like Seashells bundle. So this is like a bumper bundle, just £50 to get the whole lot, but you get a really packed photopolymer stamp set with all these lovely images. These sort of splodgy bits can be used independently or to colour the shells themselves. They're sort of in pairs there, and then we have a whole heap of lovely sentiments too. Okay, there are coordinating dies and an embossing folder. Now this is not a hybrid embossing folder. You can't put one inside the other and die cut at the same time. Okay, but nonetheless they do coordinate very, very well. Okay, so we're going to use that bundle to make our card. Okay, so I am going to bring in some basic white cardstock. I'm not sure that's going to be big enough actually, so let me just pull out this die. First thing we're going to do is die cut our background, if you like. Just going to put those to one side, make myself some space and get my chamois ready for some oh, it's not going to be big enough, so we'll just bring in this larger piece here. That's fine. So I'm just going to die cut this as our starting point, just as I would any other die. Okay, using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which I have it set up next to me on the desk so that I can just roll my things through as I need them. If you haven't seen the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it's really, really cool. All the instructions on how to create your sandwiches, and by that I mean the order in which you put your plates together. It's all contained and printed on the base platform itself. So we've cut that and everything's come out, so we'll put that to one side, and we're left with this die cut that we can now stamp onto. Okay, so we'll just knock out all these extra little bits and put those to one side. You don't want scraps of paper stuck to your cutting plate. Okay, so now we've got this, we're going to bring in the coordinating stamp. So all of these open portions coordinate with a stamp in the set. Okay, all right. So we'll start with So Saffron for these little tiny ones. So just light tapping on the ink pad to ink that up. Locate the appropriate space on the die cut and just press that into place. Okay, it's not going to matter a whole heap if it's not quite lined up. It's really not going to be that obvious on the final design. Okay, but you're looking to get just a little bit of a white border around it, so you just want to get your head over the top. So that's a bit low, it's not quite in the right place, mainly because I can't really get my head where I want it with you guys up there, but you get the idea. Blushing Bride for the two smaller shells there. So again, light tapping on the ink pad. You don't have to press really hard, you just make contact make the stamp have contact with the surface of the ink pad and just tap it a couple of times. There's no, you don't have to press hard. Okay, and the tapping just helps you to distribute the ink evenly over the stamp, whether that be photopolymer or cling red rubber. So that one's lined up a bit more, a bit better. So again, just drop it on, well, I say drop it, place it on, light tapping. These larger shells just about fit onto a D block as well, my favourite block to use is the D block. It's a really nice size. So if you're looking to start and build a starter kit, D blocks are definitely ones that I would include. D and H, that would be my recommendation. And then we're going to bring in Blackberry Bliss for this large shell. So again, just press it on, light tapping, and you can then place that over the top. Just looking for those lumps and bumps in the image and trying to line those up as best I can with the die cut underneath. Good firm pressure. And there we go. Isn't that a beautiful colour? I love Blackberry Bliss. It's one of my favourites. I'm just giving this a good clean because the pink and purple inks stain the photopolymer, so I just like to get that off as soon as possible. It doesn't hurt the photopolymer, it's just me being fussy. And the fact that they stain is a mark of the quality of the photopolymer that is used for the manufacture of these particular stamps. Okay, so now we have that stamped, we can now emboss it. So this is a 3D embossing folder. So on the machine, the instructions tell us that we need a number 1 and we need the number 4 plate, which is the dark grey plate. All the plates that you need for all of these functions will be provided in the box when you purchase a Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And we have a mini version too. So the mini wouldn't fit these particular images, it's too narrow. But it's a nice starter machine if you're looking at some of the smaller sets. The Forever Greenery bundle, for example, and there's a couple of embossing folders in that collection, or that coordinate with that collection. They would all fit in. So I've just lined up that die with the embossed image as best I can inside the folder, and then we're going to put that through the machine and all that detail will now, all that texture I should say, is going to come out onto the stamped images. Now bring that up. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, really nice texture, so you can probably see it better on the white, how it's come through on there, and the added detail in the leaves and things like that. Isn't that lovely? So I thought with the we don't have any green or anything to add to the layout itself, so I thought I'd go with a Blackberry Bliss card base just to make all that wonderful detail really pop. Okay, and then that's just going to go on to the card with some wet glue. I'm going to bring in a silicone sheet because I don't trust myself to not get myself in a mess with this. So I'm just going to put some glue on these sort of larger portions that are sticking out. You don't necessarily have to do it all, but these bits are flat, if you know what I mean, and we'll hold everything else in place. Okay, a few little, some bits on there, if it catches some of that, the more raised bits, it'll make contact with the card base. Okay, so we'll just lift that up and place it onto the card. Just making sure everything's gonna sit within the frame of the card, shall we say. And I'll just spread my hand over there just to make sure all those bits just catch, and that'll be enough to keep that in place. Okay, any little bits of glue that sort of peek out, just wipe them away and it will dry clear. So that's not going to be a bother. Okay, so really impactful, but at the same time really quite, you know, it's not bulky, shall we say. All right, and there are lots of sentiments we could add to this set, to the card, all that. So I think, so I haven't actually chosen a sentiment yet. So that happy birthday one's quite nice. So we'll pop that out. This is the H block, my other absolute favourite. Great for sentiments, but in particular. Just going to grab a piece of grid paper, she says. There we are, got it. This is the mini grid paper stack. So when I'm lining up a sentiment, I like to use my grid paper and find some sort of horizontals and verticals on the letters. So something like a T is brilliant because you've got both the top and the sort of stem of the letter to help you line it up. Okay, just need to bring that closer to me just so that I can get my head in place. Okay, so I'm just lining that up on the grid paper like so. And then when I put the stamp, what's this called, block, over the top, I'm lining that up with one of the lines on the grid paper too. So theoretically, if I get it all lined up, then the sentiment will be straight. Okay, so that's how I line those up. I think I will be using the Blackberry Bliss because it's the darkest colour. It'll be easier to read. We'll bring in some rummage through the scrap pile for something that looks like it's going to be suitable there. So again, light tapping on the ink pad. Okay, now for this sentiment, the sort of straight line, if you like, is along the top. So bring back in your grid paper, line up your cardstock on the grid paper. So if your cardstock's straight, stamps straight on your block, in theory you should be able to stamp your sentiment nice and straight. Okay, just having a problem with the position of the camera and the light and everything, so when I'm, you know, when we're filming and stuff, we do have some limitations to work with in terms of getting stuff right for you. But that's the idea. So if you've got plenty of space and you can get your head in the right position, that's how we can do that. And then I'm going to use my trimmer. Another fantastic bit of kit from Stampin' Up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in so that we cut along the bottom of that sentiment, and because I can see where the blade is going to run, I can see that that's going to cut that. Lovely. Okay, And then we're going to do the same sideways. We're just going to put the edge of the sentiment next to the track there and get that cut down. Just as a simple cut rectangle to put on top. You could, of course, die cut that, have a rummage through your collection. Okay, and I think this does warrant just being popped up with a couple of dimensionals. So totally optional whether you decide you want to add the sentiment or not. And we can pop that in place here. Okay, using the edge of the card there, the card base, to line that up and see that it's straight. Okay, so that's it. Using the Friends I Like Seashells bundle, so stamps, dies and embossing folder together to make this nice colour combo card. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Links are in the description should you wish to look at the blog hop itself and see what everybody else has made, and also if you fancy taking a look and purchasing any of the items I featured today. Thanks a lot for joining me. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.